Here is our Blue Jays reporter, Scott Mitchell, down at the Dome. Scott, as bad as things had been going for Alek Manoah, Monday may have been a low point, may have been rock bottom. What's the next step for the Jays, and what's the next step for Manoah?
Well, look, post-game, John Schneider didn't really have a whole lot of answers for that. When he was asked if Manoah will make his scheduled start on Saturday, he said, I think so, but added the game just ended, and they're going to try to work through their options. They're going to try to work through the process with Manoah. And the party line is, you know, they're trying to just get him back to what he was, and whatever helps him, whatever's best for him, that's what they want to do. So obviously, you can kind of look at that from a number of ways. What's best for him might be a stint in the minor leagues to obviously away from the lights, to be able to focus on the process rather than results. And, you know, you said it, absolutely a low point, because you weren't sure where, you know, this was going to go. He's looked kind of up and down. He looked a little bit better in his last start, but obviously 38 pitches, just recording 1 out, that's definitely a low point. And you definitely have to evaluate your options if you're the Blue Jays, but the issue is there's not a lot of good options right now, and amazingly, Manoah is one of them.
Okay, let's talk about the options. If they were to make a move, tell me some of the other options they may actually have.
Well, look, first of all, you're probably not going to know many of these names, but Bowden Francis might be the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, in terms of getting a potential spot start. The problem is he's not on the 40-man roster, hasn't completed 5+ innings in more than a year, and potentially, or was kind of looked at as a potential bullpen candidate until the last few weeks when they're kind of forced to stretch him out. So he's slated to pitch Tuesday in Buffalo. Zach Thompson, who they acquired in a minor trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the offseason, he's got a 6.89 ERA, so he hasn't been pitching very well. He is on the 40-man, and he's a guy that the Blue Jays looked at coming into the year as if they had an injury, if they needed a spot start, he would have been the guy, but he has not pitched very well. And then you look at some other names. Obviously, Ricky Tiedemann is one guy that a lot of people have asked about. He's still down with a biceps problem and not an option. And even if he was pitching, he'd still be in Double-A and probably not an option. So when you look at the organizational, where this organization stands in terms of depth, this has been one thing they've been trying to build, and they haven't built it to the point yet where they have real options in terms of setting Manoah down and calling somebody up that's going to give you anything better than, you know, kind of what Manoah has given you on an every 5th day basis other than today.
Man, you really have to feel for Manoah at this point. And as you mentioned, Scotty, according to John Schneider, Manoah is still tentatively scheduled to make his start this Saturday against the Minnesota Twins at home. That's Scott Mitchell, our Blue Jays reporter. Scott, thanks for this.